in Africa soon. We make a lot of IBR steam generators. So everything connected to hygiene and healthcare. And I personally feel that we are at the tip of the iceberg with our relationships with Ethiopia. I just love the country personally, the people. I've been there many, many times. I've been to others, to Havasa, and I feel the best is yet to come in our relationships. Thank you.
Because that will become inspiring for other businessmen also to explore Africa and also Ethiopia. We have the next speaker from Indian industry is Kushagra Nandan. He's the co-founder and president of SunSource Energy. The company is focused on developing solar projects across India, South Asia, and Middle East. And he is a solar energy expert with more than 20 years of experience with large teams that have developed large-scale solar projects. He's a graduate in solar engineering from University of Massachusetts. Welcome, Mr. Nandan. Please go ahead with your remarks.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, first of all, ASSOCHAM and Embassy of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia in India for hosting this important session. And good afternoon, Madam Minister, and good afternoon, Ambassador, and also good afternoon to our Additional Secretary and other dignitaries here. As we all know, and I think it has been covered very well here, Ethiopia is Africa's oldest independent country and its fastest growing economy today. There are many factors that indicate that Ethiopia will be Africa's new growth engine. These include, first of all, its strategic location between Europe and Asia in the Horn of Africa, and a promising startup ecosystem focused on increased private investments, and of course, like India, a huge youth population, which we gladly share. Almost 70% of the population is aged under 30 years. Energy is one of the most important input to power the country's growth ambition. We feel that both countries can learn from each other and forge a long-term win-win partnership. Talking about our organization, SunSource Energy, it is one of the India's leading distributed solar companies. We have executed more than 150 plus solar projects across 6 countries in Southeast Asia, including India, Middle East, and Africa, and have provided design engineering solutions for solar projects in over 30 plus countries across the globe. We started SunSource Energy in 2010 with me and my partner returned back to India after spending almost a decade in the US market in solar. This was a time when India was starting to deploy large-scale solar power. We identified that commercial and industrial consumers consume almost 50% of India's electricity requirements, and it's important to provide them low-cost and reliable energy solutions so that they can scale up and help India achieve its growth targets. We believe Ethiopia is also at the same juncture as the fastest growing economy in the continent. It's imperative that it chooses the technology that is cost effective and serves as a long-term solution. We at SunSource Energy are continuously looking at opportunities to invest and expand our footprints in emerging markets. And we do see Ethiopia as an attractive market, having already been active in countries like Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya, Botswana, and South Africa, among other African nations. And we are looking at Ethiopia very closely and looking to forge real partnerships in the country. Whenever we enter a new market, we collaborate with local players, co-develop projects with them, ensure local job creation, skill development while promoting local entrepreneurship. Our request to the respective guests from Ethiopia is to help us, and like other solar developers and investors, in linking us with good organizations to collaborate with. Further, ease of financing in this sector is necessary for its scale up. Solar currently is negligible in terms of deployment in Ethiopia at present, but as we understand, by 2040, government aims to have it at 45% of the total energy mix, along with geothermal. Tax incentives is one of the key factors in the form of reduced withholding tax and imposed duties, along with a favorable policy for repatriation of funds to put the capital will help in building developers' confidence and ensure that the more investment flows in this sector in the country. Our two great nations have a long-standing relationship. India as a nation has done tremendously well in terms of solar energy over the last decade, and we are confident that Indian solar developers with their experience in this domain, can significantly contribute to the growth of this great African nation. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir, for very brief and concise presentation. And well, with Solar Alliance at the center of India-Africa relations, and I'm sure this is going to scale great heights. Now we have Additional Secretary Minister of External Affairs, Ms. Nagma Malik. She is an outstanding career diplomat proved in various capacities, including the first woman deputy chief of protocol. She was ambassador to Tunisia, High Commissioner in Brunei, and head of the policy planning and research division of Ministry of External Affairs. Apart from her professional accomplishments, she is also a theatre artist and dancer, which also is something, a very amazing feature. I have pleasure in inviting her for delivering the special remarks, particularly because she is also from Kerala and I am also based in Kerala. So I am really proud to invite you for today's webinar. Thank you, ma'am. Please.
Thank you very much for that fleeting introduction. Can you hear me, please? Can the other participants hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's important that I check this because let me begin with my profound apologies for not joining you right from the beginning of the webinar when you were there. We were trying, I think it's a problem of plenty. The ministry has many places where the webcam and this whole setup is available. We had to try 2 or 3, some glitch happened and I couldn't join you in time. My apologies for that. Your Excellency, Mrs. Sion, State Minister for Economic Diplomacy and Diaspora Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia. Her Excellency, Dr. Kizita Mulugeta, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, and my colleague here in New Delhi. Mr. Penesken Tilahun, Deputy Commissioner, Ethiopian Investment Commission. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, President ASOCHAM, Engineer Melaku Eziziu, President Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce, and Mr. Deepak Sood, Secretary General ASOCHAM. Greetings from New Delhi to the participants at the ASOCHAM webinar on the India-Ethiopia Trade Partnership. I congratulate the Ethiopian Embassy in New Delhi for their partnering with ASOCHAM to organize this event. I would like to acknowledge also our embassy in Addis Ababa for providing liaison and feedback. I especially thank our panel guests for their presence here. I'm happy to be at an ASOCHAM event in a year when I understand it celebrates its 100th year of existence. This seminar, the India-Ethiopia Economic Partnership, is an excellent initiative by ASOCHAM. India and Ethiopia have, as other speakers before me noted, civilizational linkages and historically documented trading relations over centuries with India's west coast in particular. Our countries are characterized by diversity, population, language, religion. For over a decade. And India has been a partner in this journey, with the presence of more than 586 companies there, with licensed investment of over $4 billion, of which about $2 billion is estimated to be on the ground. About 61% of Indian investment is in the manufacturing sector, followed by agriculture, which accounts for 14%. Some of our best companies like Cadilla, Tata, S&P, Kanuria Textiles, Amul Products, Urban, Asian Paints, etc. are active in India. Our Exim Bank's African headquarters are also in Addis to oversee trade financing in that part. With a cumulative investment of over $54 billion in the African continent, India is one of the largest investors. Indian capital and enterprise, I'm happy to say, have created employment, developed the retail, mining, manufacturing, and education sectors, and has ensured the diversification of the economy in many countries in Africa. Many trade facilitation measures are in place between our two countries. We have signed the bilateral trade agreement in 1997. The bilateral investment promotion and protection agreement was signed in 2007, though is yet to be enforced. The double taxation avoidance agreement has been effective since 2013. We do not charge visa fees for Ethiopian applicants seeking business and employment visas. India has always supported African entrepreneurship and market access to India's vast market. India has provided duty-free, quota-free market access to least developed countries or LDCs since 2008 under the Duty Tariff Preference Scheme, the DTPS. As a member country of the G20, India fully supports the decision of the G20 leaders taken in March this year at the Foreign Ministers meeting to implement the Debt Service Suspension Initiative for LDCs or the DSSI. Through our continent-wide engagement via the India-Africa Forum Summit since 2008, India has initiated concessional loans, also known as LOC projects, of around $1 billion in 3 sugar factory projects, namely Pincha Sugar Factory, Monji Shua Sugar Factory, and Tendamo Sugar Factory are already in execution. India has also offered LOCs, concessional loans, for power transmission to McKinley, a project worth $147.33 million, and the second power transmission line between Ethiopia and Djibouti, a project worth $133.70 million, which is under active consideration. I would like to mention a word here, Excellencies, on the depth and extent of India's development partnership with Africa. India has executed 194 developmental projects in 37 African nations and is currently working to complete 77 additional projects in 29 African countries with a total outlay of $11.6 billion. The Ministry of External Affairs of India has 4 Development Partnership Administration or DPA divisions, which are mandated to work upon specific aspects of our assistance programs, whether concessional loans or training and capacity building or restoration of monuments on ground basis, or humanitarian assistance after a natural disaster, food aid, and so on. In all of these DPA divisions, our experiences with Africa have been really the bedrock upon which has rested the knowledge, the sum of knowledge and wisdom in those divisions. Excellencies, we are aware of the immense opportunities the unifying initiative of the African Continental Free Trade Area will bring to Africa. Eventually, when this establishes a unified market and customs union across the continent, it will surely have a dramatic impact in increasing African trade and enhancing incoming investments from its partner countries. That to hearing more from our panel guests on this and on how Indian businesses can enhance their mutually beneficial trade under the AFCFTA. The pandemic has put a temporary halt to the visits of our businessmen between our countries. We are desirous that Ethiopia may soon establish a bilateral air services air bubble with India, under which the airlines of both countries can operate flights to the other country, including for passengers traveling from other African capitals. It is a way in which we have already, despite the restrictions of the pandemic, we have managed to kickstart movement and people-to-people ties and trade and exchange of students, etc., with a lot of other countries. We are proud that many Ethiopians visit India for critical health care, and we certainly hope that their visits to India for this can resume. The travel of students and entrepreneurs between our two countries also needs to restart. During this pandemic, India has proactively provided critical medicines to friendly partner countries, including Ethiopia. On 6th May 2020, Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi had a telephone conversation with His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. The two leaders discussed the domestic, regional, and global challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic and expressed solidarity with each other during the health crisis. The Prime Minister assured Dr. Abiy Ahmed of India's support to Ethiopia for ensuring supplies of essential medicine and ameliorating the economic impact of the pandemic. I'm happy to inform the panelists here that India has provided COVID-related medical assistance of medicines and equipment to 31 African countries among over 80 countries worldwide. Within a short span of time, India has achieved 100% self-sufficiency in medical equipment and devices to counter the pandemic. And our Ministry of Commerce has lifted all restrictions on the export of these items. India is well known as the pharmacy to the world, especially to the developing, and we are proud of this title. And research laboratories around the world are tying up with Indian facilities to mass produce vaccines. We will ensure the availability of vaccines for developing countries as we have always done. Excellencies, let me close by quoting once again our External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, who has recently said in another setting when he addressed African leaders virtually, and I quote, India offers Africa an honest partnership and room to maximize its space in the sun and multiply its options, unquote. I am certain that Ethiopia can attest to the friendship and comradeship of India and Indians with Ethiopia and her people. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity to address this August panel. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that very insightful remark, especially highlighting the Government of India's proactive steps, expressing solidarity with Ethiopia in the current scenario of COVID, and also how we are one of the largest investors, and how AFTA will certainly create a dramatic impact in boosting the investment. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I have pleasure in inviting Mr. Tedese, the director of the Ethiopian Investment Commission. He has got a versatile career: teacher, public relations expert, then editor of the Ethiopia Broadcasting Corporation. We really look forward to the latest foreign investment revision of the foreign investment law, which Ethiopian government has introduced. EIC plays a critical role in the business environment, creating a conducive business environment for Ethiopia. Sir, may I request you to make your presentation?
Thank you very much, all event speakers, excellencies, and distinguished guests. Sorry for being joining late because of technical issues. So welcome those who participate this event. So let me highlight about Ethiopian investment opportunities and also incentives. So thank you very much, our embassy in India and our ministries, foreign affairs, to give us this chance. So let me highlight about the Ethiopian ready to accept investors or invite investors to in Ethiopia. So nowadays also as one of Ethiopia is one of the largest participants of FDIs in Africa, as you can see from the PowerPoint, and some of the Indian companies and Europe companies like Arvind in Indian companies is investing in Ethiopia in Hawassa Industrial Park. We have industrial parks developing by the government now. So those Raymond and Arvind and those PVH, Diago, those are some of the big international companies already investing in Ethiopia. When it come to the laws, especially the investment regulation and the investment proclamation. As I said already, we revised with considering for the investors. So there are key reforms in the are included in the revised regulations, especially before we are using the so-called positive list. Now we change this positive list to negative list, which means the regulation moves away from the positive list approach to the list of clearly defined and specified to the limited sectors that are reserved for domestic investors, which means those small scale projectors, and also joint venture with domestic investors and also government. So before it was positive list approach. All the list allowed sectors are listed, and then it is fully closed for foreigners. Now only reserved sectors are listed, and then all the others are opened. This is one of the major changes for the new investment regulation. And also brown field investments duly recognized and moved to EICs and OSS, which means one-stop shop service. We are providing one-stop shop service, every service providing in one building, and investment license, business license, worker permit, all investor-related issues are providing in one building, which means Ethiopian Investment Commission. Ethiopian Investment Commission is the federal investment institutions, mainly in charge of foreign direct investors and also joint venture investments, and also ground due process and timeline for suspension and revocation of investment permit and clarified. And also we have included electronic investment service processing in July recognized and enabled. And also practical, predictable service standards introduced within, wherein in maximum timeline in the defined and for delivery of each investment service. Those are some of the basic reforms and in the regulation. I will share you that regulation, and also you can get it the regulation in our website. So we can check that all the revised articles. So we have priority sectors already identified by the government. So in one side, light manufacturing sectors and export-oriented sectors like textile and garment, leather and leather products, and agro processing. Those are the light manufacturing sectors. We are promoting investors, those who invest in Ethiopia, and the incentives also very encouraging. And the other one is pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceutical is one of the priority sectors because the government of Ethiopia spend more than $200 million per year. So we are inviting investors investing in these areas, and also ICT sectors, culture, energy. Those are the priority sectors. So even the incentive package is very suitable. And also, as I said, the government of Ethiopia considers pharmaceutical manufacturing is a priority for its economic growth strategy. So pharmaceutical manufacturing was identified as a priority sector in the priority sector. So Ethiopia is one of the first African countries to develop a national strategy for pharmaceutical manufacturing sectors by 2050 up to 2025. So strategy is growth, export, and also become pharmaceutical manufacturing hub in Africa, in addition to substituting import and improving access to the medicine. So government also plans to encourage clusters by developing state of the art industrial parks specialized in the pharmaceutical manufacturing. So these industrial parks are around in Addis Ababa. So companies are coming now and engaging to enter these industrial parks. So we have a special and wide range incentive for those who invest in the pharmaceutical sectors. As you can see from my presentation. So the first one is about income tax exemption period. The income tax exemption period, as you can see here, there is a baseline. Those who manufacture or formulation of final medicine production inside in the industrial parks, as you can see, up to 10 years and also 12 years. And those active pharmaceuticals, those who produce or manufacture active pharmaceutical ingredients, production inside of the industrial parks, as you can see, from 12 years up to 14 years. So those are the incentives, those who invest in the pharmaceutical sectors, and also importation of duty-free for raw materials and construction materials. And also everything is fulfilled in the industrial parks regarding utilities are fulfilled with the government. So the only thing what we need from the investor side is that to only import machines and to plant the machines and to start the production within the short period of time. So India is known by pharmaceuticals. So please welcome those who invest or want to invest in the pharmaceutical sector. So as I said, no, we have not only the pharmaceutical industrial parks, we have also another industrial parks. Now around 12 industrial parks are fully operational. They have their own key features. Our industrial parks are sector specification and export-oriented sector parks, and also they are vertically integrated, and sustainability is very important, and also skill development is very important. So the features of our industrial parks are located along strategic economic corridors connected to ports by the electric driven railway. For example, one of the industrial parks, Redwa. Redwa is near to Djibouti, which means 200 kilometers away from Djibouti. So the railway pass through all the industrial parks. So our industrial parks are such kinds of features, and land with asphalt roads and close to proximity to abundant labor forces, and also ready for plug and play equipments with all necessary infrastructures, including waste treatment and plants. And also there is a dedicated power with own substation and waste treatment facilities, all for those government-owned industrial parks, and health station, fire brigade, and experts accommodation, and 24-hour security is available. And also we have providing one-stop shop service, those who invest in the industrial parks. So industrial parks are strategy. By the way, developing industrial parks also considered as an investment. Those who develop, for example, a group of Indian company, if you want to develop industrial parks, it's possible because there are around 8 private Chinese industrial parks are developing their own industrial parks. So the incentive is very attractive, even for the land, 15 years income tax exemption period. So those who, the Indian companies and groups, if you want to develop your own industrial parks and then you promote other enterprises, it's welcome, it's encouraged, it is considered as an investment. Ethiopia Investment Commission is lead government agencies, especially responsible for investment promotion, registration, licensing, incentives.
When I'm speaking, it becomes useless. So I'm writing Excellency in India protocol. The most important person speaks last. What to do?
So this is my final presentation. Let me conclude my idea. So Ethiopia Investment Commission is a promotion agency, and as I said, we are providing one-stop shop service, providing incentives and aftercare supports for investing in Ethiopia. So the incentives, we have physical incentives tailored to investment, and we have non-physical incentives, and also industrial support, getting manufacturers, and also we have another miscellaneous incentive. So this is what I'm going to highlight for those participants. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
And I'm sure with the dramatic changes taking place in new investment policy, many more Indian investors will be interested. Though India is still one of the largest investors in Ethiopia, I hope with the new changes will bring more investors into our country. Thank you, sir, even for highlighting the specific sectors where you would like to have foreign investors involved. Thank you, sir. Now,
Thank you.
let me go back to the industry leaders. There has been some disturbance in the program because we had to accommodate you people who had come late and all. And as per our protocol, normally the most important person speaks the last. So, we had to change the program format to accommodate some, inconvenience of some of the members. Now, I have pleasure in inviting Mr. Arjun Bhaskaran, Member Advisory Board, Reach Technologies. Reach Technologies provides intelligent IT solutions for apparel, fashion, and textile sectors. His remarks will focus on how India can offer significant expertise in and IT solutions in apparel sector to enhance the competitiveness of the Ethiopian apparel sector. Mr. Bhaskaran, please.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to the Excellency Tison Teklu, um, Excellency Tisita Mulgutta. Um, we from Reach Technologies are thankful for this opportunity to present our views to boosting the economic cooperation between India and Ethiopia. Ethiopia has recorded, as Madam mentioned earlier, rapid economic growth of 9.4% and accompanied by very rapid export growth also, which is 12.8% between 2006 and 2016. Of this, apparel exports have in particular grown from USD 2 million in 2006 to USD 106 million in 2018. But even though this achievement is fantastic, the potential for Ethiopia is far more higher. The World Bank has highlighted that the rapid economic development that has been driven more by agriculture and services. So manufacturing, there's still a long way to go. Apparel industry offers many advantages to an emerging economy that needs to provide employment to a large number of people. Apparel industry creates the most number of jobs per dollar of investment in a non-polluting manner, and it enables many women to participate as a part of the workforce. Because of these advantages, the entire international apparel industry is probably betting on Ethiopia as the next growth hub in apparel. And we also believe it's rightly so because Bangladesh, which is world number 2 in apparel exports, it has got $23 billion. I'm sorry, 1 minute. I'm extremely sorry. So Bangladesh, which is world number 2 in garment exports, with $33 billion of exports, and Vietnam at number 3, which has got $28 billion. Both have comparable population size as Ethiopia. So we believe that with the kind of labor force advantage that Ethiopia does have, it can achieve great heights by improving its production capacity and improving its competitiveness. Today, the apparel value chain is significantly IT enabled. As Ethiopia emerges as an important player in the global apparel value chain, software is going to be a critical tool in building Ethiopia's apparel long-term competitiveness. So India will be an ideal partner for Ethiopia in realizing this because we are the only country, only economy with significant strengths in apparel as well as in IT. So we can contribute a big way in skill development, in training for apparel workforce development. India can contribute in organization development and capacity building of technology and business managers. The World Bank in its country partnership framework for 2018-20 2022 has pointed out that the Ethiopia's private sector is slightly weak and it needs a lot of development. So in this area, we can contribute in entrepreneurship development also in specific sectors. So India in general and REACH technologies in particular can contribute to augmenting the technological capabilities of Ethiopian apparel industry. And REACH can provide cutting-edge apparel design and manufacturing software that is designed and perfected for the global apparel industry. So we look forward to partnering with Ethiopia on a very important sector which we believe will generate economic growth and employment opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bhaskaran. Really, as you rightly said, Ethiopia has certain very clear advantages like labor cost, and with your entrepreneurship development efforts, and you can really augment the technological competence of Ethiopia to enhance their competitiveness in the apparel industry, to which Ethiopian government is attaching the highest importance. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, I have pleasure in inviting, in fact, today we have an array of women in leadership position. We have and now it's my pleasure to invite the ambassador for her special remarks, Excellency Dr. Tizita Mulugeta, for her special remarks. Ambassador brings a unique experience to this forum. She has a doctorate in sociology and humanities from the University of Tromsø, Norway. Before joining as ambassador to India, she was assistant professor for gender studies. Excellency, please.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for your kind introduction. Your Excellency, Ms. Ion Taklu, State Minister of Economic Diplomacy and Diaspora Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia. Your Excellency, Ms. Nagma, Additional Secretary of Africa at the Ministry of External Affairs of India. Dr. Niranjan Hirandani, President of ASOCHAM. Mr. Deepak Sood, Secretary General of ASOCHAM. Dear speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is such a pleasure to have you all in this special occasion, which will have a far-reaching impact on the future of economic relation between our two countries. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to the Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, who have made really a distinctive contribution in organizing this virtual webinar meeting in collaboration with our embassy. As it is well known, Ethiopia and India has been enjoying a long-standing relationship and also friendship based on mutual respect and understanding. And also the present warm, strong, and multifaceted relationship which existed between India and Ethiopia emanates from the spirit of mutual cooperation and partnership, which is clearly reflected in our two countries' foreign policy. And Ethiopia is the first African country to start official diplomatic relation in India in 1948 and open its embassy. And throughout all these years, we have seen Ethiopia and India's diplomatic and also commercial relation growing significantly, especially in the area of investment and trade. Currently, India is the third largest source of imports for Ethiopia, and the total trade volume between the two countries stood at 1.28 billion USD in 2018 and 19. Out of this, Ethiopia's import from India is 1.23 USD, and its export to India is 55.01 million USD. I can say that among all the companies that are found in Ethiopia, Indian companies are among the top 3 foreign investors which successfully established their presence in Ethiopia. And Ethiopian government is also trying all its best to make the country suitable for foreign investment and trade. Among all, the fact that the government is investing billions of dollars into the development of dozens of industrial parks with the ambition of becoming the largest African manufacturing hub is one of them. Ethiopia's competitive advantage also comes from the abundance of high-quality industrial raw material, abundant and competitive labor, cheap and subsidized energy cost, and second largest domestic market in Africa with wider access to the USA and EU market, as well as competitive incentive package. The presence of Ethiopian Airlines, that free direct passenger and also cargo destination in different parts of India is another advantage that Ethiopia has. Even if because of COVID, the flight has been stopped for some period of time, now I want to be thankful to the remark made by Excellency Ms. Nagma to take into consideration the bubble agreement between Ethiopian Airlines and India. Beyond this, the suitable weather condition of Ethiopia to live in, and also to start a tourism industry, and also to produce different kind of agricultural production is worth to be mentioned. Not only this, the location of Ethiopia and its distance from Middle East and Europe is another competitive advantage. By taking this into consideration, we highly encourage Indian companies to partake in our priority areas of investment, which include agro-processing, pharmaceutical, ICT, power, mining, textile and garment, leather and leather products, etc. And also, in terms of bilateral business relation between India and Ethiopia, though the pandemic is being affecting trade and investment between these two countries, I can see that the looking for platform of cooperation out of the existing scenario is very important. For instance, as the virus demands reduction of physical cash flows as it aggravates by transmission, Ethiopia needs to ensure access to SIM cards, mobile money transfers to all, including vulnerable group of the society. This will facilitate cash-based responses, increase access to information, and limit risks of transmission through physical cash. This is a way will create an opportunity for foreign companies to take part in IT sector. As part of Ethiopian transformation measure, opening up of the economy, especially the telecom sector to investor would be one opportunity to Indian companies operating in telecom sector. Taking all this into consideration, our Prime Minister recently appeals to the international community to provide essential debt relief to help less developed countries marinating financial postures. So far, a lot of good promises and the responses are secured from G20 countries, IMF and others. As Exim Bank of India is also one of Ethiopia economic partner, Ethiopian government also formally requests the Exim Bank of India to suspend and reschedules the rapid and repay its debt over a long period of time. I believe my government will get a positive response to this request. We also recall the recent phone call of our Prime Minister, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, promising to work together to mitigate the social and economic impact of the virus on the two development partner countries. And this will serve as a base to continue our strong economic partnership with India forward. So by this, I would like to assure you the readiness of our embassy and the Ethiopian government to support Indian investors in your economic agreement with our country. Taking the situation of COVID-19 into consideration, our embassy is always ready to organize virtual meetings for any investor to get in contact with Investment Commission. We also believed and identified India as a strong partner in our sustainable development endeavor, which include the private sector. I welcome you all to be part of our amazing development story. The future is with us and its benefit is for all of us. With this, I invite you all respected Indian companies present here today to visit Ethiopia and explore the untapped opportunities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you for reassurance about the Ethiopian government's support to the Indian investors and businessmen. And you have rightly pointed out certain focus sectors like tourism, fintech, telecom, and hopefully by then Ethiopian Airlines will also resume its flights, and hopefully by then I'm sure the bilateral business economic cooperation will conquer greater heights. Now, I have pleasure in inviting President of the Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce and Sectoral Association, Engineer Mr. Melako Azezu. Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce and Sectoral Associations like SHM also plays a key role in promoting economic cooperation and supporting government in its bid to promote bilateral ties. May I request Mr. Melako Azezu to make his remarks.
Thank you very much. I'm really very much pleased to be part of this webinar. Excellency Ms. Tsiyon Taklu, State Minister for Economic Diplomacy and Diaspora Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia. Excellency Dr. Tzita Mulugeta, Ambassador of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia to India. Mr. Tamasgan Tlahun, Deputy Commissioner, Ethiopian Investment Commission, representative of the Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, Indo-Africa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce and Sectoral Associations, and on my own behalf, I would like to welcome to this webinar discussion entitled Building Momentum in India. Now, I believe we add more momentum in the efforts we make to strengthen our long-lasting relation into a far important area of cooperation in investment and trade. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to recognize the today's webinar as a means to expand business opportunity and consolidate resources to enable India and have self-sustaining business opportunities. The Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce and Sectoral Associations believe that this webinar will serve as a platform to provide the opportunity to exchange business opportunities information in this regard. So far in Ethiopia, there are a number of Indian companies investing in various sectors like agriculture, floriculture, engineering, plastics, manufacturing, cotton and textiles, solar energy, water management, ICT, education, pharmaceuticals, and healthcare. We know that India today is one of the South Asian leading economies in its quality products and modern technologies. And it is empirically noted that it will be an important discussion session because of our local businesses will explore and learn more from Indian counterparts. Ethiopia pays due attention to India's economic growth and development strategy, for it is exceedingly appropriate to the country's context. The relationship is getting deeper and broader economically than at any time in the past. Due to the previous Ethiopian national economic policy and strategy that upholds propagation of foreign direct investment and proliferation of trade relations across the globe, the country has been attaining a recent economic boom within the last engagements. According to the trade data from National Bank of Ethiopia, bilateral trade between Ethiopia and India stood USD about 1.2 billion in 2018-19, out of which India's export to Ethiopia were about USD 1.23 billion and imports were USD 55 million. India is, to our country, Ethiopia, the fourth most important source of imports for Ethiopia. contributing 8% of Ethiopia's imports next to China, Kuwait, and United States of America. India contributed 1.6% of Ethiopia's export to the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce and Sectoral Association based conviction that the dynamics of Ethiopian economy, even within the COVID-19 era, can keep on accelerating by creating a diverse trade networks, resources, self-sustaining business opportunities, and closer investment chances for Indian investors in key strategic areas such as information technology and innovation, dairy and food industry, solar energy, pharmaceuticals and chemicals, among others. It is also gives us an opportunity to introduce ourselves and promote our visions on international business arena. Finally, before I close my remark, I would like to thank the organizer, Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Ethiopian Embassy, the Federal Democratic Republic of in New Delhi, for making this webinar as outstanding as it appears. The Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce and Association is always at your as to development and the business-to-business communication between the two countries for the benefit of the business community. I am confident that you'll be going to make an opening discussion which will arrive at some kind of fruitful end. My personal respect and thanks goes out to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you for the remarks. And I'm sure Associated Chamber of Commerce and Ethiopian Chamber can join hands and take this momentum ahead for a more active economic cooperation. So we really look forward to such opportunities from our side. Now we come to the most important remarks, the most important part of the program, the remarks by the minister, keynote remarks by the minister. As I said earlier, today at the program we have important women in leadership position, and I must say she is the most important among them. She has Excellency Ms. Teklu took over as State Minister of Economic Diplomacy and Diaspora Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in April 2020. Prior to her new appointment, Excellency has been serving as a State Minister in the Ministry of Education also. With economics and management background, she is a mentor and leadership trainer for young Ethiopian aspiring students. May I request Excellency to make her keynote address.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ms. Magma Malik, Additional Secretary of Africa at the Ministry of External Affairs of India, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, President of ASOCHAM and co-founder of the group, Ms. Deepak Sood, Secretary General of ASOCHAM, Ambassador Tizita, and all protocol observed, distinguished guests. I would like to say, Elaine, Namaste. I think we are the only two, probably few among the few countries that have COVID-friendly greetings. We say Elaine without the handshake, and it means may you be well. So know that you are in our prayers at this difficult time where a lot of people are losing their loved ones. Resilience is the brand for people of India, as it is for Ethiopia as well. Be strong. We are all in this together, and I know that we will surely win. So this is a message from the Ethiopian people to the Indian people in taking this opportunity. I would like to begin my closing remark by thanking the Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, and my embassy for organizing this important virtual meeting and giving me the opportunity to connect with the Indian business community. You know, most of you have talked about the relationship that dates back centuries between Ethiopia and India. For me, the amazing thing is the people-to-people relationship that we have among the two nations, which I consider a noble thing to share, to keep, to actually maximize on, because in my country, most of the time, Indians are not considered as foreigners. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Ethiopia has achieved a sustained economic growth and has registered a double-digit annual GDP growth rate for the last 14 years. And I'm happy to note that India has been a very strong partner all the way. Indian companies are the third top and largest foreign investors in Ethiopia, with newer Indian businesses marking their presence in the country. Currently, there are around 600 Indian companies in Ethiopia with licensed investment of over $5 billion who have invested in various sectors, including agriculture, pharmaceuticals, healthcare, engineering, plastics, manufacturing, textiles, ICT, education, and others. Ethiopia, with a vision of becoming the leading manufacturing hub in Africa, is offering a remarkable and competitive advantage for manufacturing industries. Having a huge market of over 100 million population and entitled to duty-free and quota-free to US market and preferential access to EU, Ethiopia, for me, is the ideal place for Indian companies to invest. Ethiopia is strategically located in the Eastern African part with an easy access to the market in the Middle East on the side, Europe and Asia, and enjoys various preferential market accesses with these regions. Therefore, I have no doubt that Indian business people will succeed if they decide to invest in my country. The construction of the Renaissance Dam is an indication of Ethiopia's determination for growth and prosperity. Ethiopia's stand is purely fairness. As Egypt is enjoying energy for most of its population, Ethiopia wants the same thing for Sudan. It wants the same thing for its own people. And I would like to thank you for your support in this matter. As we have an excellent Prime Minister, a man of commitment, a man of his word, a strong leader that fits Ethiopian current need, we are blessed to have him. And with his leadership, investment will go forward for Ethiopia. Currently, my government is shifting its economic direction from the previous practice of state-led economic growth to providing greater space and involvement of the private sector. In our privatization program, the partial equity sales of telecom, power, and logistics is under process. The government has also decided to fully privatize previous state enterprises, including sugar plants, railway, industrial parks, etc. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will soon host virtual forums to raise awareness of the newly revised laws, which includes investment law, mining law, and laws on aviation and telecom. So stay tuned for that, and we would like you to participate. My government is committed to public-private partnership in areas of large infrastructure projects, including the recently announced $7 billion worth of infrastructure projects, which necessitates private partnership, including Indian industrialists. It's my strong belief that we not only have you participate in investing, but also experience sharing. Now we are facing common challenge, COVID. In Africa, the economic impact of the pandemic is expected to be worse than the expectation. And Ethiopia is not exceptional or spread from the effect of the pandemic. It's strongly affecting our human capital and slowing down our economy. However, recent gains in public trust for the government, increasing transparency, civic engagement, and strengthened economic management coupled with macroeconomic stability put us in a stronger position to mitigate the effects of the pandemic. We will sure win it with genuine collaboration. Due to several economic measures, government subsidies have enabled manufacturing exporters to benefit from zero-cost rail transport and lower export logistics costs. And in the industrial parks, manufacturing companies are producing personal protective equipment for domestic and overseas markets. So when you think of importing, consider Ethiopian products as well. I think with this webinar and with the online forum that we're having and the long-standing relationship that we have, we need also to put a stop or to take a little bit of a time to reflect of what our relationship looked like. What are the basic problems that we have faced? What are the basic issues that Indian investors and Ethiopian maybe joint investors have faced? What are the issues that we would like to tackle at this point? I think is the main takeaway from this online forum, meaning that the two chambers should work closely to actually review processes and to build a stronger relationship among them, to be able to build a model chamber relationship for other countries as well. So this is probably a big takeaway from this meeting. So as I conclude, I would like to assure you the readiness of the Ethiopian government to support Indian investors. Ethiopia is still an untapped and unexploited market for investors. We would also like you to see what we have to export on the local market and also for the international market. I welcome you to be part of our amazing story as we are going higher and higher. With this, I invite Indian companies present here today to visit Ethiopia and explore the opportunities, but most of all, share experience and build capacities. When you decide to come, make sure building capacity is part of your plan. Welcome to my beautiful country. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you for pointed out the introspection on the issues, a review of the process for the Indian businessmen. That will be really good because that is the road ahead for correcting the paths so that a bigger cooperation can be envisaged. As you have rightly pointed out, Ethiopia has the potential to become the manufacturing hub in Africa. I still remember when I was in Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce, Mr. R.D. Kanoria had led a business delegation to Ethiopia before he decided on the where to set up his manufacturing in Africa. So the meetings we had, the very systematic and very efficient process. We were all very impressed by the meetings we had, and no wonder Mr. Kanoria decided to put up his facility, start his venture there in Ethiopia. We have some questions which we have received. From some of the participants, I'll just throw the forum open for questions and answers. The first question is, what opportunities are there for Indian SMEs providing architecture and engineering design consultancy services, given the rapid growth in infrastructure in Ethiopia? How do we forge partnerships with Ethiopian consultants? This is one question. May I request somebody from the panel to respond to that?
Hello, may I respond?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you for the questions. Regarding these questions, architecture and engineering is one of the allowed sectors. For allowed sectors allowed. And those who want to join with local investors, and also there are also local investors looking for foreign investors, with joining with Indian investors or foreign investors, it's allowed. In our website also there are local investors looking for foreign investors in architecture and engineering and also on other sectors. So through Ethiopian Investment Commission, from our investment commission, we are the mediator to connect those who join with the local investors. So the first thing is that it's allowed. It's allowed. It's clearly put it in the regulations. And as I said in my presentation, Now the regulation is more of open. It is around 27 sectors already reserved for locals, and the rest of the sectors are open for foreigners. So architecture and engineering, either in consulting service, is allowed. It's possible. If those who engage to invest in Ethiopia, welcome. Ethiopian Investment Commission will facilitate all the process.
Okay.
Thank you. Is it clear? If it is not clear, I will come back again.
Okay. Hopefully that should be clear. To the I don't know. I hope AS is around, because there is a question on the two countries, India has supported trilateral cooperation in Africa, and there have been certain projects like India-Africa corridor and all. What is the future of these trilateral cooperation? How do you, what do you perceive in this? You know, how much it will progress into the Eastern Africa, and which are the sectors you feel could benefit out of that? The future of trilateral cooperation in Africa.
May I respond?
Yeah, please.
Okay. As it is well known, there is what we call India-Africa Forum, which has been taking place within 5 years, every 5 years. And we are also expecting the coming India-Africa Forum to come in 2021. So one of the issues to be discussed in such kind of a forum is bilateral and also such kind of multilateral issues. So in the Africa corridor could be one of the issue where the Indian government identified major sectors to work with different African countries, and also Ethiopia also identified different kind of issues which she can work with different Indian companies and also other countries. So using such kind of forum, we can work in identifying and also working and identifying different kind of issues that we work in the future.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Sheila-ji, can I say something as well?
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I think I understood the question to be a reference to possible trilateral cooperation. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, as it is currently, there is as yet, as my colleague, the Cuban ambassador just mentioned, there is of course flourishing and a well-established multilateral cooperation that India has with Africa, and in which she mentioned the India-Africa Forum Summit. Indeed, we've had 3 of those summits already, and the one that we had in 2015 was for the first time ever with the participation of all countries of Africa, and 41 of them were represented at state government or prime ministerial level. We have made substantial, very good progress in implementing the promises together, African countries, partner countries, and India. In the last 5 years, together we have made good progress in implementing the provisions of what we agreed to do in the last summit. The 4th India-Africa Summit was scheduled to be held this year, but because of the pandemic, it could not be held. We are very hopeful of holding it in the year to come, provided that things go on track and somewhat under control at some stage during next year. That is the time we hope to begin to have a conversation with our African partners on what the AFCFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, will mean for trading countries like India. What is it that we can do to add greater layer, maybe through some other kind of a tie-up. We come into some kind of collaboration with the AFCFTA so that we have a mutually beneficial partnership which is enhanced thanks to this agreement. These are matters that we will look forward to discussing with our African interlocutors, and we will hope to do that at the earliest possible. So yes, right now we certainly have a flourishing bilateral cooperation with Ethiopia, we have multilateral cooperation. Specifically on trilateral cooperation, it is talked about, but there is nothing concrete as yet. And we look forward to understanding in greater depth how we can take a trade investment partnership forward thanks to the AFCFTA next year. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think, we need to, we are already late in the whole process. It's almost getting to, we are about 15, 20 minutes late. So shall I close the question and answer, Santosh? I mean, any more questions should I take, or shall I invite Santosh Matthew to make the vote of thanks?
Thank you, Ms. Sudhakaran. Friends, we have come to the end of a fascinating and interesting webinar on India-Ethiopia relations. On behalf of ASSOCHAM, it is my honor and privilege to extend a hearty vote of thanks to Her Excellency Mrs. Sion Teklu, State Minister for Economic Diplomacy and Diaspora Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ethiopia, for her graceful presence here today. We thank you, Excellency, for your precious time and powerful ideas and insights that you shared with us today towards building the momentum for a strong India-Ethiopia economic partnership during the pandemic and post-pandemic. We are extremely thankful to Her Excellency Dr. Tizita Mulugeta, Ambassador of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia to India, and her team at the Embassy of Ethiopia in Delhi for partnering with ASSOCHAM for organizing this insightful webinar. Your support and advice for the Indian and Ethiopian industry is very well noted, and we promise that we shall work with the Indian industry towards realizing this vision. I would also like to convey my special thanks to Ms. Nagma Malik, Additional Secretary Africa, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, for sharing her time and insightful remarks to guide the members of the industry and ASSOCHAM towards strengthening this partnership. Thank you, ma'am. I place on record my deep appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, President ASSOCHAM, and Engineer Milako Isuzo, President Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce and Sectoral Association, for their support and encouragement for this webinar. Sir, your presence manifests the deep commitment of the Indian private sector to build a fresh impetus to India-Ethiopia business relations in the times to come. Thanks to Mr. Ashchelo Tadese, Director FDI Promotion, Ethiopia Investment Commission, for that fascinating presentation, highlighting the significant changes in the Ethiopian economy recently, investment policies, opportunities, priority sectors, incentives, bold reforms unleashed by the Ethiopian government to attract global FDI. We are sure that the Indian industry has taken note of them and will explore business opportunities in Ethiopia. Thanks to our distinguished friends from the industry, Mr. Sundar Bilani, Mr. Kushagra Nandan, Mr. Arjun Bhaskaran. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your global experience, success stories, and new ideas from your respective sectors to leverage this bilateral economic partnership. I would also like to thank our magnificent moderator, Ms. Sheila Sudhakaran, for successfully conducting this webinar. She is an expert on India-Africa matters with a rich experience of about 30 years in the bilateral, multilateral sectors. And thank you for moderating an enriching and lively interaction today. I also extend my gratitude to the corporate partners, Ramson's Group, PK Marketing, and Diamond Cement. Without your support, this webinar would not have been possible. I hope we will get your support in future as well. Lastly, thanks to all the lovely participants from India and Ethiopia for sparing the valuable time. We had more than 250 registered participants for the webinar. Thanks to my team at ASSOCHAM, which supported me in organizing this fabulous webinar. I'm sure that as we discuss the things, resilient strategies forward, this webinar is going to be a platform where we can build on our relation with Ethiopia in the time to come. Once again, a big thanks to each one of you. Stay safe and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh.